Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So I am posting this to both channels, to the Shana Lee Show and to SC Crochet Studio, just because it's something I wanted to talk about, and I think it would be beneficial to have on both channels. So here we are. Disclaimer before I get into this, because you know, I feel like conversations like these need a disclaimer. So I am not bashing the influencer lifestyle in any way, shape, or form. It is not bad or wrong. I just know it's not for me personally. And while I said like I said, while it's not bad or wrong, I do think aspects of it have gotten out of hand and have become slightly more negative. Again, not negative in a bad way. There are parts of it that have gotten negative in a bad way, but when I discuss it here, I don't mean negative in a bad way. There are parts of it that have gotten negative in a bad way and have gotten bad. It's just, I think some aspects of the influencer lifestyle have gotten out of hand, and it is what it is. With good comes bad, and like with people who try to be good influencers and try to be positive about it and have good views on things, try to push good things, whether it's eco-friendly or finance friendly, budget friendly. There are people who are just going to be focusing on the expenses and focusing on expensive stuff rather than trying to do stuff that's eco-friendly or budget friendly or family friendly. Well, not even family friendly, but well, family can look however. Family friendly. So it's not bad or wrong. It's just, like I said, some things have gotten out of hand. So that is the disclaimer. And to get into this, like you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, this is personally why I am not getting into the influencer lifestyle. And like I said, I know it's not for me at the end of the day. And that is what it is. I've known that for a while. And I do see myself more as a content creator just because I create content. Even though I don't do it full time and I have no intention of making this a career, either part-time or full-time, I see myself as a content creator. And it would be amazing to make money from this, but that is not what I set out to do when I started my channel, the Shana Lee Show. With SC Crochet Studio, I didn't create the channel to make money. It was to benefit my Etsy store, which should be another form of income. But I wasn't going into this. I wasn't going into YouTube, into content creation specifically. I wasn't going into that with the intent to make money, with the intent to make it a full-time career. With crochet specifically, when I set up an Etsy shop, I still am kind of like fine-tuning some things and figuring out what would be best for an Etsy store, which is why I only have PDFs on the Etsy store. I'm still trying to fine-tune like physical stuff I'm still trying to fine-tune physical items and the best way to go about that. But Etsy store, crochet Etsy store aside, content creation, I started doing it largely on TikTok when it was first Musical.ly. I was doing cosplay and it wasn't the best back then. Or my cosplays were not the best back then, and they certainly developed over time. I miss cosplaying. I haven't really officially done it in a while. I would say at least like a year plus. I miss doing it. Hopefully I will start doing it again soon. It's just things have been so crazy that it's like cosplaying is like on the back burner. But when I got into content creation, it was just because it was fun. It was a creative outlet, and which is what content creation is. It is a fun, creative outlet. That's what it's intended to be, and that's what most people intend it to be. Sorry, I keep pausing. I'm a little bit gassy today, but anyway, not that you needed to know that. Whatever, I've already said it. And with content creation, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a creative outlet, and then if you can make money from it, that's great. Kind of like what I was saying earlier with me, where it's like, if I can make money from content creation, great, but it's not why I set out to do it. It's not why I started making content. It's not why I started cosplaying. It's not why I started recording videos and posting them. It was because I wanted to share my love for specific creative outlets, like when I was doing cosplay. And then when I started sharing about books on TikTok, and then once I started this channel, I started this channel like years ago. Well, not years ago. So like, let's see when my first video was on my, where are you? Okay, 1 second. The only reason why I'm looking for like the first video, it's not officially my first video, but because what I had done was I had deleted a lot of the videos I had done before because I just wanted to reset. Okay, here we are. Okay, so the first video I had done was back in December of 2021. So that was like, see, it wasn't quite COVID, or it was COVID, but it was like after like a lot of the large peaks in COVID. And that was a cinema reaction to Disney's Cruella. And then I had a reading vlog on the 10th. And then I think that was when I started doing Friday. And then I had a study vlog, and then this was when I started doing weekly on Fridays. I had a get ready with me, like a cosplay get ready with me. I had a Barnes & Noble and ice cream graduation trip. I had a reread review, book haul, and then I had an anime expo. So it's like, oh wait, no. So December 24th, 2021. So I had that. That was the Mirror Universe at Mew, Amelia Devonshire, my Starfleeter's original character. And then I started posting again in May 2022. So that was after I had graduated from university. So I had started posting again because I was like, hey, I want to do this again. And again, it was more so me content creating and just trying to share stuff I like. And I was doing a lot of bookish related videos. So I did an Anime Expo 2022 commentary. I didn't do a vlog for Anime Expo that year, but that was on July 7th. And then I had a merchandise haul July 7th. I had a discussion about Love and Gelato, the movie, book haul. So it's like I had a short, a little short video, like the under a minute YouTube shorts, you know. So yeah, I started, like, I think I started consistently posting weekly on July 7th, 2022. And that was my Anime Expo 2022 commentary. Again, that was when I started consistently posting on Fridays. Let's go all the way to here. Okay. So again, for me, it was more about content creation rather than trying to become an influencer. And it was more about sharing the things I was interested in, that I had read recently, that I had gone to, that I had done, that I had watched recently. Whether or not I liked them, it was just sharing the things that like I said, that I had read, watched, done recently. And it just, for me, there was never really any pressure because, like I said, I've never tried to make this a full-time job. I've never tried to make it a full-time job. Again, like I've said, it would be great if I could start making money from this. But again, like, that's not a priority for me, making money from this. The priority for me is talking about things that I'm interested in, like I said. So, and for me, like, I always have tried to keep my videos casual. And like, I don't dress up. I just wear whatever I'm wearing for that specific day. And I've talked about it before on my channel as well, like on the Shanae Lee show. I schedule my videos out in advance because I do have a full-time job. I schedule out in advance because that just makes it easier to get things up, get things going, be at least somewhat consistent, because I just heard thunder. Because I do want to be like talking and sharing and engaging with this community. Like, even though I don't have a huge fan base, it is something that I want to still do. So I'm still trying to be somewhat consistent in when I post, what I post. So that's why I schedule in advance, and I do schedule in advance on my crochet channel as well. I just, with that, because I post once a month, like, there's a little less pressure for that one, for the crochet channel. But like, I do try to be consistent when I post, like here, well, not here, it's on both channels. On the Shanae Lee show, like, I post every Friday at 12 noon Pacific time. And then I have the Book Tag Tuesdays videos, which go up on the last Tuesday of every month. So that's like consistent in the fact that it's the last Tuesday of every month. And then I'll occasionally have, like, if there's like a holiday that month, like with March, there was St. Patrick's Day in March. So I posted a St. Patrick's Day book tag. In February, I did I do a Valentine's Day book tag for February? I think I did. I did a February book tag. I did do a Valentine's Day book tag. So it's like, I will do like holiday related book tags as well. And I try to have those be on Tuesdays. Because again, I try to have them be a part of like the consistent series of Book Tag Tuesdays. So I can have them all in the same playlist, in the overarching playlist. And then with the crochet channel, SC Crochet Studio, with that, I post on the first Sunday of every month. And again, like, sometimes it's a little bit harder to be consistent with the crochet channel, just because it is only once a month. And then sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, I needed to post, and that's like, oh wait, the first Sunday passed, crap. So it's like, this video, by the way, for the crochet channel, this isn't like the official video for March for the channel, the crochet channel. It is more so just like a additional episode, because I wanted, an additional video, because I did want to talk about this on both channels. I'm trying to set something up real quick, one moment. So like I said, this isn't it might end up being the official March video for the crochet channel, but like, as of right now when I'm recording this, I'm not intending it to be the main video for March for the crochet channel. And I have, on my crochet channel, I have done other videos where, like, in December, for that month, for December, that's kind of like my December off, I did more of like a short, like 6.5 minute holiday card video, because I love writing to my friends and family. So my first video on the crochet channel was August 4th, 2024. So it's been close to 2 years that I've been posting to YouTube for crochet. And honestly, like, again, for me, like I said, it's more so about content creation. Now, as for like where I think it's gotten out of hand, the influencer side of it, like, I do have a couple of links down below in the description, and I think it's gotten out of hand. I think the influencer lifestyle has gotten out of hand, because, like, I've watched a few videos on this topic about influencers trying to influence certain things, and one video, I'm blanking on who the YouTuber was, who the channel was. Okay, but they were talking about how, okay, so it was this one. It's actually showing up on my, okay, so let's see. I will link it down below in the description. One moment. Okay, so the creator, the influencer, I guess you could say, I'm not sure what she identifies as I don't know personally what she identifies as. Content creator, influencer. Susanna Friesian, and this was her video back in November. And she was talking about the Starbucks barista cup. You saw it. It was a little bear cup with the Starbucks hat and the Starbucks logo. It was very cute, but she was talking about like, why is everyone obsessed with this? It's like that new fad, like it's like the new fad, and it's kind of in that vein where it's like once something comes up and once you have enough of like the big influencers talking about it, then everyone has to have it. And it's like Susanna, I like her content because she always talks about like, hey, it's not bad, like consumerism is not a bad thing and buying things inherently is not bad, but it gets to a point where at what point does it become a not so great thing? And in one of her videos she was talking about how I think it was like a video where she was like talking about like some of the things I've been influenced on, and she was talking about like if you have like 10, 12 plus mugs in your cabinet but you're consistently using the same 1 to 3 mugs, then you don't need another mug. It's kind of like that kind of a thing where it's like and then like you're going out, you're buying fall decor, but you're still using the same fall decor you had previously, even though you went out and bought something. Like, at what point does it not become beneficial? At what point does consumerism start affecting? Like, I don't think she really touched on this topic, but it's like, at what point does consumerism start affecting a person or a person's budget, a family budget? At what point does it start affecting their budget? I mentioned budget. At what point does it start affecting budget, affecting storage, affecting what you do and you don't use? Like, at what point does it start just taking up space rather than being useful? So it's like, that's where I think consumerism, well, not just consumerism, but influencing. That's where I think influencing has started to not be so great, because like influencers, especially like a lot of the bigger ones, they'll be like, it'll be like the X number of the X essentials you need for this season, the X, Y essentials you need for this holiday, the Y essentials you need for a new home. And it's like, so to put like examples in there rather than just letters, it'll be like the 10 essentials you need for fall, the 15 essentials you need for Christmas, the bedroom essentials you need for a new home, the bathroom essentials you need for an apartment. And it's like, a lot of the time, many influencers have gotten to the point where they can afford a decent apartment, and decent meaning decent comparatively speaking to their not budget, well, yes, comparatively speaking to their budget, but comparatively speaking to whatever wages they earn, whatever they earn, salary or hourly, whatever they earn. It's probably salary if they're an influencer, but whatever they earn, like, they can get a decent home, whether it's an apartment, a townhome, an actual house, not an actual house, an apartment, townhome, 2-story house. They can get a pretty decent space comparatively speaking to whatever budget and or salary and or income was the word I was looking for. They can get a decent income, or words, getting everything mixed up. They can get a decent living space comparatively to their income. And not everyone can say that. Like, not ever, like, most people can get a decent home comparative to their income, but like, there's so much budgeting that comes into play, especially for like lower income families and households and individuals. Even like, there's like certain things you have to take into account when looking for a place to live, like groceries. Like, okay, so if a place is, let's say, $800 a buck. If a buck, $800 a month for rent. That honestly, $800 sounds amazing. I live in California. I live in Los Angeles. $800 for a place would be amazing. It'd be a pretty cheap place, but here in California. But let's say it's $800. Let's say the income is $1,600. Let's say income is $1,600. Okay, let's say it's $1,600 a month, comparative words. Let's say, I'm gonna restart. Income $1,600 a month. Rent is $800 a month. Okay, half of the paycheck's gone. Let's say groceries. Let's see if I use these. Groceries. Let's say. Okay, so let's say this is a single person. So $1,600 is the income a month. Rent is $800 a month. Let's say groceries are about $200. Groceries are $200 a month. So that is $1,000 already gone. And then you have about $600 left over. And you have to pay bills. So let's say phone bill, utility, let's say utility. So that would be phone, electricity, water. Let's say that adds up to like about $500. Then you're only left with $100 left over. So it's that kind of a thing where it's like you can go through your budgets. Like you can go through a paycheck so freaking quickly within the span of a week, let's say. And you could just be down to like the 100 and you don't have much to spend outside of that. And that's where I think influencers are a little bit out of touch. I don't mean this in a bad way or in a mean way. I don't mean this in a bad or mean way, like I said, but this is where I think they're a little bit out of touch because they don't have to worry about being stretched thin. They don't have to be worrying about all the bills they have to pay and then only be left with the barest minimum. So it's like, that's where I think they're a little bit out of touch, and that's where I think aspects of the influencer lifestyle and influencing have gotten out of hand, because so much of it is phrased as you need this or essentials, when it's like it's not essentials really. At the end of the day, it's not essentials. Like at the end of the day, they're just wants. It's additions to. Let's see, what's the opposite of essentials? Okay. Opposite of essential. If I can spell. Okay, so I'm trying to find like unnecessary, non-essential. Okay. It's superfluous. Superfluous is a good word. Where it's like, yeah, it would be great to have those things, but if you're on a tight budget, like I said, if you're making $1,600 and your rent is $800, groceries $200, and other utility bills add up to $500, those 15 essentials for fall are not going to be as important. That's why they're not essentials. So it's like, that's where I think it is a little bit out of hand personally, because it's like, at the end of the day, like, they're not essentials. At the end of the day, like, I think, like, if I were an influencer, I'm not. I did link a video down below where it's content creator versus influencer, and the creator of the video, she, in the title of her video, I didn't type up the full thing, but she was like, why you need to choose one going into 2026. And I thought the video was really interesting because it's like, hey, we're getting to a point where it's a little bit harder to be vague about what you are if you are making content on social media platforms, because influencers are making content. All influencers are content creators, but not all content creators are influencers. It's that kind of a deal. And going into 2026, it's like, you kind of have to be one or the other. You have to be either an influencer or a content creator. You have to either choose to be like, hey, I'm just here to make content, or you have to be like, hey, I want to try to influence people to get certain things so I can, like, I don't know, so I can, like, make a commission off of things or whatever it is, you know? So it's like, I thought that video was really interesting. Again, it's down below in the description. But I personally don't see myself, I see myself as a content creator, like I said earlier. But if I was an influencer, I mean, this is partly because I know what it's like to be like stretched thin, financially speaking, and budget speaking. Like, I know what it's like to be like down to the wire, and I do okay with my job. I do pretty decently well with my job. I don't do like financially speaking, it's not like amazing. It could 100% be better, but from the looks of it, it looks like it will hopefully be getting better. But it's like, it's not terrible either. I do pretty good with my job, but like, and I'm lucky enough to have a job where it's a little bit easier for me to budget and a little bit easier for me to have like what I call play money, where it's like, the way I budget my money is that like I set aside stuff for like home miscellaneous. I have my main savings. I have home miscellaneous stuff where it's like, that's what I dip into for groceries, for any bills, for any other stuff related to the household. And then I have like my play money, which I'll set a little bit of money into that with every paycheck. It's not a whole lot. But I'll set money into that, and that's the money I can use going to Barnes & Noble, going to other places, and that's what I can use to spend money. It's play money, but it's like, I set that money in there with the intent not to spend it. So like with Disneyland, when I went to Disneyland last month, sorry, I'm getting a lot of texts and they're popping up on my computer. When I went to Disneyland, like, I had saved up a lot of that money. It was a very tight budgeting. But I had saved up a lot of that money from birthday stuff and from my paychecks. And I was like shuffling stuff around, saying like, okay, I need to still be able to pay X, Y, and Z, but I need to have a good amount for Disneyland, because Disneyland is expensive, like food and water, and we were trying not to buy too much water because there's the water refill stations, but like food, drinks, any merchandise we wanted, like we didn't go crazy with merchandise, but I didn't go crazy with merchandise, but it's like, things add up. Even if you're not going super crazy, like things add up. So it's like, it's kind of like that, where it's like, with putting stuff into the play money savings, as I call it, I go into that with the intent to not spend it, just because it's like, hey, if I am getting really down to the wire with the other stuff, like I need to be able to dip into this. So it's like, it's kind of like that, and it's like, a lot of people have to think like that, and a lot of people can't afford to set aside money in a play savings type of a deal. I call it play just because, like I said, it's, hopefully I'll be able to like spend it on like other stuff like books and like other little decor stuff. But anyway, so it's like, it's a situation where it's like, not everyone can afford to do that. Like a lot of people are in situations where they cannot afford to be, like the past couple of weeks, I like, around my birthday, for example, I went to Barnes & Noble on my birthday, and then the next week, like one of my friends and I, our birthdays are 3 days apart. So I went to Barnes & Noble on my birthday, which was a Saturday. And I went with like a couple of my friends. And it's like, I don't keep my friends separate, but it's just like, you know, like, I just know that like certain friends are good with certain energies and then don't do great with certain energies. So it's not that like I keep it separate to be like malicious or anything. I just know like certain friends are not gonna vibe, so it's like I'd rather not force them to vibe. So anyway, so birthday month, I went to Barnes & Noble on my birthday, which was a Saturday, and then the next week, like the next Saturday, I went with one of my other friends, the friend who's like who's born 3 days after me, which was like a coincidence that we ended up being friends. But anyway, so it's like both times, like I didn't go crazy with purchasing. It does add up because, like, you know, books are expensive, but like I didn't go crazy, but like there is still the fact that like I was able to afford going 2 weeks in a row to Barnes and Noble and getting something from the cafe both times. And because my local Barnes and Noble has a cafe, getting something from the cafe both times I went to Barnes and Noble, and then getting at least 2 books both times I went to Barnes and Noble. Like the first time, I have no recollection what I got. One. It's somewhere. The second time I went, I got 1, 2. Second time I went, I got 4 books. I got 2 manga and then 2 novels. First time I went, I got 1, 2, 3. I think I got like 3 or 4 books. I'm not sure what the 4th book is. In here. I have no clue right now. It's been a while. It's March versus November. So it's like, some of them I have more forwards, which is why I was able to point them out. But anyway, it's not everyone, like, so that would be about like 7, 8 books in total. And that's not something, like I was saying, that's not something everyone can do. Not a lot of people can go, and this was like kind of a rare situation because it's like I was paid and I was able to budget stuff. And based on how I budget, it's like I was able to do that this time around, but that's not something I can do every single time. So it's like, that's not something that a lot of people can do. I think it's a little bit of a minority of people who can do that and can do that often. So it's like, I think that's a large reason why the influencer lifestyle has gotten out of hand, because it's like so many influencers are, not that this is bad, like I said, but so many influencers are out of touch because they came from similar backgrounds where it's like they weren't able to afford it, but now that they can, it's like they just forget what it was like to not be able to afford it, or B, they came from money and were able to spend time and money building up an influencer lifestyle that, like, they just can't comprehend what it's like to not be able to spend money on the 15 fall essentials for your home. And it's like also space wise too. It's like not like I had the rotating bookshelf, which I love, and I do want to bring it back out at some point. But right now, with the way I've reshuffled my room, it's not really gonna fit. Like, it looks like it'll fit, but I have 2 bunny rooms. Who's this one? Okay, so I have 1 bunny room right here, and then I have 1 by my closet. So I have 2 bunny rooms. It's so not going to be convenient in my room anymore. So it's like, it's just one of those deals where it's like time, money, space. And there's a lot of influencers who either A, don't remember what that's like to not have the time, money, or space to be able to get the 10 Christmas essentials or get the 20 bathroom essentials for your new home, you know? Either they don't remember what that was like, or to not have the time, money, and space for that, or they never had to be in a situation where they had to worry about, oh, do I have space for this? Do I have the money for this? Do I have the time for this? So personally, that is why I think it's gotten out of hands. And at this point, I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit too repetitive. So I am going to end this video here. Like I said at the beginning with the disclaimer, I'm not bashing the influencer lifestyle. And I have also been subjected to being an influencer. We all have at some points. But I think there needs to be kind of like a wake-up call for not just for influencers, but for everyone. It's like, hey, you do not have to be influenced about everything. The 15 fall essentials are not actually essentials, you know? So it has gone a little bit out of hand. I don't think it's a bad thing that we have influencers because, you know, yeah, they can direct us in things that we hadn't seen before or hadn't thought of before, or now know that that's something that we like but wouldn't have known about beforehand. So it's like, I do think it's a very good thing, but at the same time, I think there needs to be a balance. There needs to be some sort of a wake-up call, and I think we need to be a little bit more friendly, budget-wise, environmental wise, consumerism wise, ecosystem wise, and just especially consumerism wise and capitalistic wise. So if you want to I'm open for engagement down below in the comments, and I would love to have discussions about this, but it will be kept civil, and if it's not, I'm going to delete your comments if it's not civil. So that is the end of this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.